The Redmi K20 Pro is maybe one of the most anticipated devices that we've had from Xiaomi since it was leaked. Top tier specs, good camera, affordable price. What is there not to love? But how does it compare to the Poco F1's camera, especially in low light? Will Sony's newer generation of IMX586 beat the Pocophone F1 363 camera? Hey, my name is Mitchell. If you're new to my channel, I make videos about the tech I use. Before we jump into this, I want to thank everyone that supports me and uses my affiliate links. Without your support, I couldn't buy the Redmi K20 Pro. It's that simple. Also, if you're not part of my Telegram community, you should definitely join. It's one of the best tech communities online. If you guys want a written version of this, I'm trying to update my website with written content as often as I can, and I'm definitely going to have a written overview of these two devices and their cameras coming up. Enough talking, let's just hop into this. Okay, so before we jump over to the computer and we review the images, I just want to set a couple kind of ground rules for this comparison. I wanted to test specifically the night mode of the Redmi K20 versus the Poco F1 and see how good Sony's new IMX586 48 megapixel sensor was in low light. Also, I know tons of people are going to ask me about Gcam. I might have a build of Gcam already for the Redmi K20 Pro. It's the build from the Mi 9 SE. I can't promise that's going to work, so I haven't tested Gcam on the K20 Pro yet. I wasn't going to compare the Gcam on the Poco F1 to the stock camera on the Redmi K20 Pro, just because that's not a fair comparison. So both of these were shot on the devices with their stock cameras on the night mode, and let's go and take a look at the images. Okay, so we are going to first start with some handheld photos that I took on a walk tonight. And we got photos here from the Poco F1 and the Redmi K20. Excuse the dirty lens for this first photo. Let's just bring our attention right in on the sidewalk to start. Now, these are low light, both shot with night mode. And as you can see, we have less noise and kind of more detail in the overall picture of the Redmi K20. And if we look up here at the signs, regardless of the camera being dirty or not, we still have more detail and more dynamic range in the K20 photo. Kind of overall, I would even say that the K20 has kind of more visually pleasing colors as well and better color representation. Here, we'll go ahead, pull up the second image. This one, again, this was a puddle picture that I shot. And this one is definitely a little bit closer in regards to detail. If we look at the reflection in the puddle, we can see the Poco F1 does a much better job in this. But again, if we look at the detail that we have left in the shops, we have a similar field of view. But if you look over here by the wheel of the motorcycle, the Redmi K20, just a lot more detail overall. But the color of the Poco F1 isn't as distracting or isn't as bad as it was in the prior photo. Let's go to the next one. Now, the next photo, I wanted to test kind of the dynamic range of both of these devices, how they dealt with highlights, how they dealt with shadows, and how they deal with kind of balancing them out. And again, both of this was in night mode. Now, on the Poco F1, I want you to pay specific attention to the face that we have in the photo. Now on the Redmi K20, you can see the dad's face, the dad's nose, the dad's mouth, the girl's face, and all of that is pretty much lost with the Poco F1. Color-wise, I think that both of these are pretty close in regards to color accuracy in this shot. And if we look at the detail in the leaves of the tree, we can see that the detail for both of them is pretty
pretty comparable, I would say. Next shot. Now this is, again, a high contrast situation. We have the bread over here in the upper right-hand side. You can see the Poco F1 bread is completely blown out, whereas the K20, that newer Sony sensor, is capturing more dynamic range in low light. And overall, kind of the color accuracy on the K20 is a little bit better. Okay, next image. We zoom in more on the signs. We have a faster shutter speed and more detail left in the Redmi K20. If we look at the mesh here, we can definitely see that there's some texture left in the mesh of the K20, whereas we don't have anything on the Poco. And then we can see a lot more detail in the lettering of the Ranger in each of these. Right, you can almost see that it says Ranger on it. Can't really see that on the Poco F1. And I wouldn't call these ultra low light shots. I would say that these are kind of your well lit night shot. Now this one, we had some more motion blur on the Poco F1. And I did a pretty good job of holding both of these devices equally still. Let's go to the next one. And here we go. Detail left in the bridge. You can't see the seams of the concrete, whereas on the Redmi K20, even zoomed in more, we pretty clearly see the seams of the concrete of where the device kind of retained that detail. And just kind of zoomed out, this has way less noise. It's also an overall brighter image than it is on the K20, but the K20 retains more detail in the tree, whereas the Poco F1 begins to kind of look very watercolory. It's really up to personal preference at this point. I think both of them are pretty good for how dark it was. Finally, last one. This is a higher contrast situation. We have the light shining into us. We have a more visually pleasing lens flare off of the Redmi K20 versus the Poco F1. The seams in the building are retained pretty well in both of them. And I was not going to test Gcam simply because the Redmi K20 is so new. We don't have a fully functioning Gcam made specifically for the K20. So that's going to go ahead and wrap up this part. And let's just go back up top.
Okay, as you guys can see, there is a definite tangible difference between the Redmi K20 and the Poco F1. Is that upgrade in low light enough for you to upgrade from the Pocophone F1 to the Redmi K20 Pro? In my opinion, the answer is no. I do not believe that the extra like half stop of light, an extra maybe stop of dynamic range is worth selling your Pocophone F1, especially if you can only sell it for maybe 200 bucks. And then the Redmi K20 Pro is going to be $360, maybe closer to 400. It's, in my opinion, not worth putting an extra $200 down just to get that minuscule difference in low light camera capability. And for those wondering about like daytime camera comparisons, only reason why I haven't done it is I've had the Redmi K20 Pro for like an hour and a half. So I wanted to get this video out for you guys because I know a lot of people are wondering about how good the camera is in low light. I went for a walk, I snapped some pictures, and as someone with a background in photography, I wanted to give you guys what my thoughts on this were. If you guys want to see more videos about the camera on the Pocophone F1 and Gcam on the Pocophone F1, you guys should go ahead and click or tap right here. And if you guys are curious about the Xiaomi Mi 9, I have more videos about the Xiaomi Mi 9 right over here. If you want more videos about the Redmi K20 Pro, let me know what you want in the comment section down below and go ahead and just click that subscribe right by my head. If you're curious about what life here in Vietnam is like, go ahead and click on the other subscribe link. Till next time, It's been Mitchell coming to you from Hanoi. See you next time.